In the middle of the meadow resides a cottage made of stone and wood. Its exterior has a cozy feel to it. There are also small windows to look outside onto the river bank, which the couple can view the scenery. The couple lives in a beautiful and tranquil environment, feeling blessed to call it home. In the past, it was the eve of a great festival in the village. All the children would gather around to hear the stories of heroes and dragons, knights in shining armor, and princesses in need of saving. The adults, on the other hand, would gather around the fire just to drink and laugh, reminiscing on the past experiences and sharing jokes and stories of their own. However, something special happened. In the crowd, which the couple named Richard and Rose met, the meeting was love at first sight kind of moment. The two immediately clicked and have been deeply in love ever since. Their love for each other is strong and heartwarming, and even though their love has been through challenges, they have a deep understanding and respect for one another that always manage to pull them through. They have a special connection that is evident to those around them, and it makes for a truly wonderful moment for the both of them. Despite everything, they live their lives peacefully in each other's arms, looking outside a window with his head rested on his wife's shoulder, as if they thought nothing will stand their way of their undying love. Such cruel reality they have to face when every male of age has to fight on the ongoing war to keep serenity of their place undisturbed. Richard has no choice but to volunteer for their village. Rose never wanted him to go to war. She was afraid for her husband. He doesn't have a choice but to only reassure his safe return, as they gave their last kiss as they were sent off towards the battlefield, only to hope for his best of his promise to come true. It's been 2 years ever since he was sent to the battlefield, only thinking of his wife despite the struggles he has faced in the journey. He couldn't wait for one day after he came and hug her in his arms once more. He has to be patient and to survive with his comrades for the time being. Until long last, the war had ended. They declared victory as Richard was the head chief among the remaining soldiers. The former chief entrusted his responsibilities towards him after he sacrificed himself when they were ambushed in their territory. Despite he was given a noble title for his service, but he declined his offer. He wanted to see his wife and wanted a peaceful life with her. The emperor just held the title until he changed his mind, as he let him flee to see his wife. Only to the point when he arrived, the village seemed unhappy. All the villagers hid behind their doors as he went past them. The windows would shut one by one as they watched him walk past by, as if they were afraid of him, or something else. He went to see an old acquaintance of his. He asked about what happened to the village. As the news started to sink in, he began to understand the gravity of the situation. His heart began to sink. His worst fear came to life as he hurriedly went to their place they built together, left with ashes in the ground, only left with the sturdy stone walls as their windows were shattered along with their furniture inside. Their place he once called home, but he didn't care. He needs to find his wife. He was so desperate to find her, and he began to ask around the village, hoping for any information or clue to her whereabouts. But what he discovered was the devastating truth. She was gone, and would never be coming back. He was shocked and horrified at this news, and it took him some time to process and accept what he had learned. Losing the love of his life in such a tragic way was incredibly difficult for him and left him feeling hopeless and empty. He is still trying to find a way to come to terms with his loss and move on, but it's been an incredibly painful process. He stood on her grave near the river bank, underneath the oak tree where she usually spent most of her time reading a book. He could almost hear her faint voice lingers in the air, as an image of his beloved wife appeared before him, giving him her warmest smile and speaking in a sweet tone as she flipped through her pages of her book.
My dear, you came back so soon. I made lunch for the both of us. I was waiting for you a bit. I hope you don't mind.
Even years later, this memory remains vivid and brings him a warmth and comfort that cannot be described. He misses his wife dearly, like a part of him was missing. He couldn't bear to accept the fact that his most beloved wife was gone. Over time, he accepted the title that the emperor had prepared for him and rose up through the ranks of nobility, one step at a time. His climb to power and prestige was difficult and filled with struggles, but he remained determined and ultimately succeeded in reaching his goals. His journey from humble beginnings as a peasant to a highest noble rank in the land is a testament to his strength and ambition, and he is now a respected and admired figure who wields great power and influence. His path to power has been fraught with difficulty, but it also been a source of pride and satisfaction for him. Despite all of that, he could not find anything to fill the void left behind by her loss. She always on his mind, and he would constantly distract himself with his work in an attempt to avoid the immense pain and loneliness he felt. This distraction only provided temporary relief, and would often find himself returning to his grief once they were off. His heart was broken, and he did not know how to move forward or heal. The pain of her absence was too great for him to bear, and he kept himself busy as a way to avoid confronting his emotions. He was welcomed by the noble society. Many other potential suitors would adore being his significant other, but due to his love he had for his previous wife was so strong and pure that he was unable to find it again in someone else. He had been so lucky to be happy and loved in his previous marriage, but after losing his wife, he could not bring himself to open his heart up again to another person. He was fearful of being hurt and broken again, and he simply could not let himself be vulnerable or intimate with anyone else in the wake of such tragic loss. Eventually, the emperor decided to hold a grand ball at the castle, inviting everyone from the kingdom's noble society to celebrate the debut of his daughter, who is now the crown princess. Richard did not want to attend, but he felt a sense of duty and loyalty and knew this was a royal decree that all must respect. The ball was a glorious affair filled with music, dancing, dining, and merriment, and it was a perfect occasion for the emperor to introduce the new crown princess to his people. However, Richard wasn't prepared for the shock and surprise when the new princess was announced. She bore an uncanny resemblance to his late wife, Rose, and he could not help but feel doubt and a glimmer of hope perhaps this was her returned to him once more. Despite all he had experienced, he felt a great sense of joy and happiness to see her again, and he could not help but feel that his prayers had been answered, that he had been given a second chance at redemption. This was a miracle like no other, and he had filled with gratitude and love for this gift from the heavens. The crown princess' name is Evangeline. If that's the case, if she was Rose, why did she disappear? Did something happen after his departure? Why did she choose to keep her identity a secret? There are so many things to unravel about Evangeline's identity, but one thing he knows for sure is that she is alive and well. She seems happy and healthy, and that is the most important thing to him. He is glad that she looks so well and she has managed to keep herself safe. And now he feels ready to reveal the truth behind her secret identity so that they can move forward together.